I like to use this symbol because it represents strength, courage, and power. Power over yourself. Having Asperger's syndrome, and you dominate it by focusing on the positive traits associated with your Asperger's syndrome. So it started off when I was a kid, and I'll be the only kid that would not talk to people, would not work with people. Just I don't want to be anywhere near other kids, and I'll be seeing them during recess playing in the playground, playing basketball, playing catch, playing, tag and all that other stuff. But I'll be the only kid that was sit in this area where no one would thought ever existed, playing with dirt and sand and just playing with imaginary friends and stuff. And for the most part, I would just come home just sad, I would start crying, and I remember thinking while I was crying, whew, yeah, I remember thinking when I was crying that the thought that I can't make friends was stressful and that I cannot establish this was overwhelming. It made me cry even more. I was socially awkward. Well, still am, but but at the time, I was extremely socially awkward. I could not congregate with people. And whenever I approach people, nothing will come out of my mouth because I become lost of words. It's like I would just approach somebody and it's like, so, um, well, my name is Mackie, okay, and God, man, I don't know what to say. It's like that, and I just like blank out on what I say. I come home and I start crying because I cannot congregate. So my family caught on and they decided to take me to the psychologist, and I was diagnosed with severe Asperger's syndrome. And that's when I started getting mad at myself. The doctors laid down on what it is because we had no idea we never even heard of it. No one in the family has ever even heard of it. But he laid down what it is, and I used to get mad at myself, man. I used to just get upset and start throwing tantrums and stuff like that. I just let it get to me that I looked at it as a bad thing. I looked at it as a disease. I looked at it as like a terminal illness of some sort. But that was back then. But I was able to go through behavioral therapy and speech therapy to work on my deficiencies, and over time, I was able to overcome it. There was this one time, it was our senior year. I had a crush on this girl all year round, and I wanted to ask her on a prom. So I had plenty of time to buy prom tickets. So I just came home. I started doing, practicing my lines and rehearse and all that other stuff. And I practiced on some family members. So that day, I felt like I had the courage to go up to her and talk to her, and nothing was coming out of my mouth. I was stammering. I was just lost of words. And the only impression she gave me was, one of those impressions where a stranger come across you and then you just give them this look because you don't want to be around them, or that you never even known them, and that you're just uncomfortable, and it's irritating you. Like, she gave me this irritated impression, and she just walked away. She rolled her eyes at me and just turned around and walked away. Boy, I came home, man, and I just started crying. Not because she rejected me, but because I could not function. I could not say anything. I was lost of words. The old saying, easier said than done. Because during, my practice, I felt confident. I was beginning to build more confidence. But whenever I went up and talked to her, I just couldn't do it. It was hard for me to say a word. This is my teenage years. I'm going through puberty, thinking about women, and, my hormones and all the other stuff starts to develop. So times were really, really tough back in high school. I didn't have any friends. I was, this high school guy that no one has ever even recognized or even noticed. I would be that kid in the corner while everybody else is working in teams and these group projects. But college, things change. It's not the same as high school. So, I started making friends. They were the friends I got right now are either my work colleagues or my study buddies. And it goes. I just got to get comfortable with them, and that I need to, let this whole this whole congregating marinate for what, like, for example, like, I work with somebody that I just met, and we start talking while we're working on a project, and the days and the weeks and the months, or days and the weeks progress, and eventually I start to get more comfortable in that we start talking about other things other than school, work, or whatever, and that we become friends. It's you kind of, in a way, you kind of have to baby step me in order to get comfortable with you. It's hard to explain it. Perhaps those who have Asperger's will understand that one. In high school, I just looked at Asperger's syndrome as, a form of retardation and, a disease. I would just down myself. I would just be so negative. I felt hopeless in life. I felt like there would be no one that would actually accept me for who I am. I would feel like I want to be alone for the rest of my life. I'm going to feel like I'm not going to be able to get married and have kids. I'm going to feel like, no one will ever notice me, even in the workplace. But there are positive traits, and there are people who are autistic and very good at math. There are people who have high-end autism, Asperger's syndrome, and they are very successful in accounting. They are very successful in computer engineering. These are good jobs. It requires high intelligence in math. So it's not a bad thing to have Asperger's, I say to myself. So, okay, I'm good at numbers, I'm good at math, and accounting, it's about math, it's about numbers, it's about routine, and I fit along with it, and I enjoy it. So it's not a bad thing to have Asperger's syndrome. So that's pretty much all I have, and I'll just pretty much I figured that to do this video that a lot of people would just get a sense on how I was dealing with certain things when I was in grade school and high school and stuff like that. And I hope this video helps a lot of people, and I hope that you find this video helpful, and that you would overcome your symptoms on a daily basis, and look at it as a positive thing. Don't look at it as a negative thing. Don't look at it as a disease. So many smiles, positivity, good news. Reach your goals on a daily basis, and I hope everyone's having a good day. Take care.